Student loan default crisis as Social Security checks and tax refunds will be offset to repay debt. Today, I read an interesting article on yahoo.com, put out by MarketWatch and written by Jillian Berman, titled, Student Loan Borrowers Will See Social Security Checks and Tax Refunds Disappear Over Defaulted Debt, Trump Administration Says. The author of this article said the government is restarting debt collection on defaulted student loans on May 5th. People will have their Social Security benefits and tax refunds offset to repay the debt. Later this summer, the government will also begin garnishing wages to repay defaulted student loans. The author went on to say, this will mark the first time in 5 years since the collections were paused because of the pandemic. Here are my thoughts. First, my heart goes out to Americans who are struggling financially to the point where they can't make their student loan payments. I really hate to think about someone who is not working and receiving a small amount of Social Security having that money reduced because of outstanding student loan debt. There are Americans right now who are barely surviving on Social Security. Some can't afford their medication because everything in life has gotten so expensive. The small cost of living adjustments provided by Social Security just haven't kept pace. On the flip side of the coin, the United States government has a mountain of debt to deal with, and every dollar counts. I hope they are able to recover money from defaulted student loan borrowers because the interest on the national debt is getting out of hand. In my opinion, the government should never have kept student loans on pause for as long as they did. Payments on these loans restarted at the worst possible time. All signs point to a recession, and some people could see their hours reduced at work. This will make it more difficult to deal with student loan debt. I'm sure there are people right now who have student loans who aren't working at all. Some people never finished college, but they still have a lot of student loan debt. They were never able to secure good employment in the field they were interested in. I'm really surprised we haven't heard more about this student loan situation in the news. I am sure there are a lot of people who are not too happy right now. Some took out these loans when they were only 18 years old without realizing how difficult it would be to pay them back. Some thought they were doing the right thing, since the post-secondary narrative is pushed so heavily in society. There were a lot of comments beneath this article. I'll share some of them with you. Please keep in mind, these are the thoughts of the commenters and not me. The first commenter said, they are charging up to 8% interest on these loans. Trust me, the taxpayers are not taking a hit from this. They need to lower the interest rate and make it more feasible for folks to pay back the loans. 11 years and my loan has not moved because of the interest rates. The next commenter said, the myth of these debtors suffering is total nonsense. These people are traveling, buying new clothes, racking up credit card debt. They don't want to change their lifestyle to pay their student loans back. They want to stick the taxpayers with their debts. The free ride is over. Pay the piper. Another commenter said, I'm all for repaying your student loan debt. However, garnishing senior citizens' Social Security payments is way too cruel. I know many seniors that rely on those checks just to survive. The next commenter said, you need to think long and hard before you sign your name on a contract. Student loans are a contract. If you're mature enough to vote, you're mature enough to pay your debts. College is a privilege, not a right. Also, these people had years of no interest on their loans that they could have been using to pay down the debt. Guess they thought Democrats were going to remain in power and enable them to not be held accountable for their poor choices in life. The last comment that I'll share with you came from someone who said, go to trade school. We need electricians, plumbers, carpenters, and truck drivers. We don't need overeducated baristas up to their ears in debt. Well, my friends, the commenters always have interesting things to say. I want to share something that has never made much sense to me. If you want to get a government-backed mortgage, you still need to go through a rigorous underwriting process. I had a client that once wanted to get a USDA loan. He had a really tough time getting approved. They scrutinized everything. He got some cash for a Christmas present from his father-in-law and deposited that in his checking account. He had to get a letter from his father-in-law so the underwriter would know for sure the money was a Christmas gift. He eventually got approved for this low six-figure mortgage. We have young people who ultimately take out low six-figure amounts for college, and there is no rigorous underwriting process. They don't look at what major you are pursuing to see if spending six figures is going to be something you can repay based on BLS average or median wages for that occupational area. It's always baffled me that someone can go into hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt to pursue a major in something that may never pay enough to repay the debt. If you worked at a gas station part-time as a cashier, you wouldn't get approved for a house that even cost $100,000 in our current interest rate environment, unless you had a really large down payment. Even then, I'm not so sure because of what the property taxes and insurance would cost. Yet, an 18-year-old with little to no credit history and no down payment can take out student loans that could be equivalent to that of a small house. It's pretty unbelievable when you think about it. Please understand, I'm not bashing student loans. Some people are strategic. They pursue a major that is in demand and pays well. They graduate and find a great paying job with even more earning potential in the future. They pay off their student loans and contribute to society. They pay their taxes and they aren't delinquent on anything. It can be done. I just worry about those who go into all of this debt with no guidance and no real plan for how they are going to be able to pay it back. Maybe you know people like this. If you do, tell me about it in the comment section below. I read another interesting article today. This one was on Yahoo Entertainment, written by Joey Nolfi, titled, Tiger King's Joe Exotic shares photo of new husband, says they married in prison and never have been so proud. According to the author, Joe Exotic married a fellow inmate in Texas. He said they love each other very much. Here are my thoughts. I'm glad they're happy. I can imagine being in prison is depressing at times. At least he has someone to spend time with. He's in there for 21 years. I remember when Trump was leaving office after his first term. He pardoned Lil Wayne, and some people were speculating that he would pardon Joe Exotic also. Someone even had a limo waiting outside of prison for Joe Exotic because they were so sure Trump was going to pardon him. Well, that never happened. I'm curious, do you think it will happen after Trump's second term? Let me know your opinion in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.